Good morning and welcome to Waking Up with Don. I just happened to be reading a comic book here called Wannabe Heroes. And I've got a special guest today, Jayson Kretzer, who is a
comic book illustrator.
Illustrator. Not a cartoonist, a comic book illustrator.
Yeah, well, cartoonist sometimes and sometimes just an illustrator. The difference being that I do write and draw my own stuff for Wannabe Heroes.
Well, you know, every kid has always like doodled, you know,
Yes,
middle
sir.
school or grade school, and you make up your own little characters. I did it. I think everybody's done it.
Oh, absolutely.
But nobody continues that into adulthood. It's very rare, isn't it?
That is very true. It's like we get talked out of it. We got to get an adult job.
Yeah.
But some of us are really hard-headed, and some of us, even though we don't become successful immediately, we can kind of feed off of that acid of failure, I think I've heard say before, that that gives us just enough to keep going.
Yeah, and it looks like you've done pretty well so far. I mean, this series called Wannabe Heroes.
Yes, sir.
What is it about, and who are the characters?
Well, they're each from a different slice of the geek community. I mean, we've got a cosplayer, we've got a wannabe comic creator like myself.
Well, we can see him right here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got a comic book collector. This guy's a video gamer. You can barely see him there, but so he plays video games all day. But the thing is he's really good with computers, and so that's what he does for his day job. He can program and all that.
Are these characters that kids can identify with? And it looks like a pretty diverse crowd.
Yes, sir. I hope so. That was my goal. I wrote this comic for the 12-year-old me, so to speak.
12-year-old Jayson
Yeah,
Kretzer.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because I remember being there, and there was a lot of cool characters, but they weren't as diverse. It seemed like Peter Parker was there for the kids, but then after that, you had Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne. These are Batman, Superman. They were somebody you wanted to aspire to, but not necessarily that you could see yourself being. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to give here. These guys are kind of dorky in their own right, but sometimes they find ways to save the day, just like
So they'll have their little alter egos. And,
Yes,
and I
sir.
see you got a guy with dreads here, so you have an African-American hero
Yes,
here.
sir.
And I guess that's an Asian, or that's an Asian
This
kid.
is a Vietnamese guy. His name is Fan, and it turns out he is a comic book fan. So
Naturally.
absolutely.
And what are the life lessons these kids can learn from reading these comic books?
That you don't have to have some superpower to change the world or be a hero to somebody. I mean, the idea is that being heroic has a lot of what's the word I'm looking for?
A lot of geek kind of qualities to being a hero. I mean,
just the idea that firemen are heroes. You know, everybody can be a hero in their own way, and these guys do it by stopping bullying. I mean, that's a big thing. A big theme of this story is to not bully, because I think that is a problem a lot of our children see today.
So a wannabe hero doesn't have to be a superhero with superpowers. It could be somebody who's, a friend to a kid who's being bullied.
Absolutely.
Or somebody who says, hey, knock that off.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I visit schools around here, and we talk about that, and it's pretty. That's one of the messages we try to get across.
That's a great message. We have to run off to a break, but on the other side of that, I want to talk about how you got into this thing,
Yes,
how
sir.
you continue with it, and how people can get these great, which are really works of art here.
Thank you.
You're watching Waking Up with Don, and now we're going to go to your local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm. That's westpittmanlaw.com. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don, and thanks a lot for watching. I've got a special guest here today, Jayson Kretzer, who I guess you're into sequential art.
Oh yeah, that's the technical term for it.
It's not cartooning, it's sequential art.
And there's nothing wrong with cartooning. It's just sometimes people get the wrong idea when you say you're a cartoonist. They're like, oh, you're into kid stuff and you probably don't make any money at it.
But it's some beautiful art. I mean, as I flip through the pages of the
you.
Wannabe Heroes, it is really beautiful art. It's beautiful printing. I mean, it's just really gorgeous stuff.
Thank you.
Now, the kids even read comic books anymore.
They do. It's not like it used to be, where every kid seemed to be reading Batman and Superman. Now we've got
we did when we were kids. I know
yes,
I read
sir.
that stuff.
Absolutely. And now we've got
DC
more
comics and
adult people reading comics. You know, the comics are written for a higher level. But the thing is, kids can understand more than people give them credit for. You know?
I believe that too.
And we do an event called Creative Con with the library. Bettina Mead and I have put together this event for 4 years where we try to explore that for kids and for teachers to show that, hey, kids can learn from sequential art. Even better, studies show, than reading from a traditional textbook without pictures.
Well, why is that? I guess if it's just a textbook and you're reading all this gray area, it's kind of uninteresting, right?
It is, and kids get interested in comics. And not only that, but it requires you to look at these pictures, and your mind has to put together the pictures with the words versus just looking at pictures or words.
So it kind of gives them a better grasp on the language by being able to see the corrending pictures with it.
Yes, sir.
You know, it used to be a time when you were discouraged from reading comic books. You know, pick up a real book.
I know, and people still hold on to that. Some people do. They haven't kind of caught up with where the world is and how we've done these studies now, and it shows that reading is reading. You know, and some kids, if all they're going to read is a comic book, then please put it in their hands because they're still reading.
You know, and I've talked about this on the show 100 times about, you know, TV watching, gaming, all that stuff that has you disengaged, and you know what I'm saying? It's just, you're not using the right parts of your brain when you're watching TV. When you're reading a comic book, it takes a little intellectual effort, believe it or not.
It is definitely a partnership between the creator and the reader, you know, because we put it there, but you've got to piece it together and take that story in. Whereas TV, you're right. I mean, it's kind of like it's there.
You're just being force-fed, and you can put your brain on check, and and
relax.
But in the meantime, your hard drive is spinning when you're reading this thing. That's an awesome. So how did you? I know you started as a kid doing this type of stuff, and you just progressed. Was there a point in your life when you just said, "This is what I want to do with my life"?
From the moment that I picked up a pencil, it's funny. I tell the kids when I talk to them a lot of times, you know, I just started drawing and I never stopped. A lot of people stop, and that's your problem. Because then if you stop and you get to being, you know, 20, 30 years old and you're like, yeah, I want to do comics again. It's not like riding a bike. You know, your imagination, if you will, kind of, it gets a little cobwebs on it.
Plus your skills, too. Like any skill set, it takes practice. You got to keep up with it. And
yes, sir. But I was very fortunate. I had a lot of support from my family and friends, and so I just kept drawing, and I went to school for it. I went right here to Tom P. Haney. I learned under Tim Thomas, a local cartoonist as well.
So you actually went to school for this?
I did, and I also went to Gulf Coast as well to learn kind of more finer parts of art under Mr. Roland Hockett and stuff like that. And so I used all these different influences to create my own style.
Wow.
That was the idea.
And I got to tell you, it's really cool stuff. Wannabe heroes,
thanks.
Anti-bullying message. I mean, you get to learn how to read a little better, and it looks like it's pretty fun stuff too.
Oh, I have a blast doing it, and there is no greater feeling than putting out something and seeing a kid's face light up when they look at it.
Now, if a parent's watching this right now, how do they get a copy of Wannabe Heroes?
They can go either to my website, wannabeheroes.com, spelled just like it, the logo, or they're also sold here in town at Arena Comics and Gaming and Comic Emporium. Both big supporters of my work and both owned by great guys.
So this is a serial, right? So
yes, sir.
How often do you come out with a new one?
Bi-monthly right now, because I don't do this full-time. But we're working on issue 2 right now, and I say I write and draw and letter everything, but I do have a colorist that does the interior colors for me, and she lives over in the Philippines.
Wow.
So
that's amazing stuff that you can make your dream and your hobby your living, and I applaud you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
It's tough to do. Sometimes we do the things we have to do to survive. It's very rare that you can do the things you love to do.
Absolutely. As long as I can eat dinner at night.
Well, you're a low-maintenance guy.
That's right.
No dessert for you, just dinner. That's it.
Well, my grandpa told me you're rich if you can eat whatever you want at night and you got somebody that loves you. And so I consider myself rich, and then I'm doing what I love. So.
Well, Jayson Kretzer, I couldn't end this interview on a better note. Thanks so much for coming on to Waking Up with Don, and good luck to you. And pick up a copy of Wannabe Heroes at wannabeheroes.com.
Hi. Hi, welcome back and good morning. I'm Zenovia Andrews, your business system strategist, and I am super excited because number one, it's Friday, right? We all love Fridays, the end of our week. And number two, I have the honor to bring you your Max Biz tip for today. We are maxing it out. All things maxed out today. You know, all week long we've been talking about the 5 tools for small business owners, the 5 must-have tools for small business owners. And today's tip is Elance. Elance is an online staffing platform. It's basically an online workplace. It's where businesses go to find, to hire, to manage, and collaborate with skilled online freelancers. And you say, you know, why would I want to use this? Well, for me, several years ago, when I first started out in business, I didn't have a big, huge staff. You know, I didn't have an administrative assistant. I didn't have a graphic designer or web developer. You know, what Elance allowed me to do was it allowed me to continue to do great things in my business. It allowed me to not get stuck because I didn't have those employees right then. And I couldn't even really afford them yet, right? So Elance could be your solution to continuing and progressing in the success of your business. Also, I wanted to share with you, I wanted to give you a recap on our Max Lab Volume 2 business training we had a couple of weeks ago. It was phenomenal. The feedback that we've gotten back, I mean, people are doing big things with the information that I shared with them. You know, if you're interested in having more information about our Max Lab business training, our next one is April 26th, right here at the Max Out Studios, 404 South Tyndall Parkway, Suite A, Panama City, Florida. Or you can go to my website to get more information on it, on the one that we had, How to Build Your Brand, Volume 2. You can find that at www.zenoviaandrews.com. Listen, I'm Zenovia Andrews, your business system strategist. You follow me on social media, I'll follow you back.
Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. We have a very colorful and tasty show ahead of you here. We've got Tracey Sharp, a friend of mine from Sharp Carpet, who was one of the early supporters of this show. But Tracey, you're not just the carpet chick, are you?
No, I'm also the salsa chick.
You're the salsa chick. Girls' Night Salsa.
Yes.
How did that come about?
I used to make it for friends, and a couple of girlfriends and I got together on a girls' night and started making a couple different flavors. And
so you had like the basic ingredients and started just...
Yeah, just heavy cumin, low sodium, that's my big thing, and just guilt-free. You know, it's a good healthy snack, and you can put it on anything.
It could be. I mean, when you look at salsa, the ingredients of salsa, a lot of vegetables and stuff in there, I guess, right?
Onion, tomato, jalapenos, yeah.
So it started from just kind of like an experiment with your friends,
Yes.
just kind of hanging out. And then it kind of grew into like a business for you, right?
It did. The first time, well, we were making the mild, and a girlfriend of mine tried it, and she said, that's kind of spicy. And I just said, well, I'll just name her Sassy. Then Crazy
so that's
and
a
Psycho.
name.
Yeah, that was a cute name.
That's a cute name. So you have a salsa called Sassy, Sassy Salsa.
And it's yeah, and then the next one's Crazy and Psycho. I have cats named Crazy and Psycho.
Oh, okay.
So it just natural progression, and then we got an extra hot one. And
so Crazy is hotter.
Crazy's medium.
Crazy's medium. Psycho is hot.
Psycho's pretty hot. But insane it'll make your nose run.
Insane.
They're all kind of like women's personalities, you know.
Well, that's cool. So did you invent them all at the same time, or was it kind of a progression? I know you started with one and they said, "Oh, it's Sassy."
Yeah.
But then you decided to
started
spice it
with
up as
3,
you went along.
the Sassy, Crazy, and Psycho, and made 1,900 jars with a bunch of girlfriends.
1,900
at
jars
home,
at home.
Canned them,
Holy
and then
mackerel.
took them to the Holly Fair in Panama City in 2009, and sold every one of them.
Really?
And K-Hall's also picked up the line right away. And so they carry my entire line now.
K-Hall's Deli here on 23rd Street.
On 23rd Street, yeah, he's a great supporter. But it's gone from the 3 sauces now to I'm at 9 products.
Wow.
I have 4 sauces, 4 seasoning packs, and a margarita mix.
The seasoning packs, what's that all about?
3 of them make dips. You can really do a lot of different things with them. You can make hamburgers out of them. You know,
Oh, wow.
you put the seasoning pack right into the meat, make your patties, and put them on the grill.
Is it like a salsa burger or
It
something?
is. It's kind of like a Mexican. It's heavy in cumin, and cumin is very good for you, but it's low in sodium. So, you know, some people may have to add salt, but I don't like a lot of sodium.
So 1,900 jars,
Yes.
sold out. Now you're doing a little more volume, huh?
I am. I've got 38 stores now that carry not the complete line, but most all the products between Destin and Dothan, Tallahassee. I do a lot of internet sales.
Aren't you the entrepreneur?
I'm having a lot of fun with it too.
So it's on the internet as well.
It is.
So where do we go? Girls
Girlsnightsalsa.com.
Duh. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Now I see you have brought some stuff with you.
I did.
And it looks like we're going to be having salsa for breakfast.
We're going to have a party in our mouth.
All right, I'm all about that. We're going to run off to a break, but on the other side of that, let's sample some of your wares.
Absolutely.
You're watching Waking Up with Don. I'm here with Tracey Sharp, and we're talking about Girls Night Salsa. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. I am here with the tasty young lady who has invented this wonderful stuff here. Tracey Sharp has got Girls Night Salsa.
Yes.
And we got some samples here.
We do.
And we've got the different flavors that we talked about here.
We've got Sassy, Crazy, and Original. These were the original start off. Then after going to Texas to a hot salsa show, I found out I wasn't hot enough for Texas.
A salsa show.
It was, and it was crazy. But I found out I wasn't hot enough. So I came out with Insane. So she's
So now we
doing
got
very
Insane,
well.
which is, you know, it's Texas approved. I'm going to try some if you don't
It is.
mind. Texas approved Insane.
Yeah, I just had it for breakfast, and I'm
Oh,
sweating
yeah.
a little bit myself.
Ah.
Love it. And it's guilt-free, low sodium. That's my whole gig. I want it to be healthy, flavorful, gluten-free. Everything is just as healthy as you can get it.
It's really good.
Thank you.
It's really good. You know, it's a little, it's mild at first, then it takes a few seconds to set in.
The habanero gets you at the end.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to try some of your margarita mix here.
Skinny Beach margarita. Low sugar, of course, no sugar. I'm
Beach.
sorry. It's gluten-free, fat-free, low sodium again, and it's only at 17 calories per serving. So we're going for the Skinny Beach.
Because it was invented by your little test group, right?
Correct. All my girlfriends.
You and your girlfriends, hence the name, Girls Night Salsa. So you test this stuff on your girlfriends, and they'll tell you, too sweet, not sweet enough, too
Correct.
hot, not hot enough.
Exactly.
And then you tinker with the flavors from there.
And then I tinker with the names, and I
Yeah.
do like that on Facebook.
Oh,
That's how
cool.
Skinny Beach came along. I asked for what should my name be, and I got all kinds of opinions.
Some you cannot even mention on the show.
No,
but
you can't.
but Skinny Beach actually is very now. You notice, it's conspicuous on this bottle is the little pink ribbon.
Breast cancer awareness.
Uh-huh.
Part of my proceeds of every jar and every seasoning pack goes to the American Cancer Society.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's near and dear to my heart.
That's great that you do that. So
Thank you.
it's not just a tasty little treat here that we have,
Yeah.
and a local business which is now in 38 stores?
38 stores.
Mostly here on the Gulf Coast?
Mostly. I do have one in Hilton Head, North Carolina.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, they called me and I shipped it right out to them.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the seasoning packs are doing really well. We have 4. The Feisty and the Hot Flash, hence the funny names again, make really good dips. You can also make guacamole and hamburgers with them. The Diva dip is like an onion, garlic, makes really good cheese ball. And then the chili mix is actually so good. My mom called me yesterday and told me that I had to make my chili for my dad because he doesn't like her chili anymore. He likes mine.
Oh, wow. See that?
So kudos to me, but
Wow.
sorry, Mom.
When you beat out Mom's chili, that's huge.
No.
So how are these doing now, the mixes?
The mixes are, well, the 2 are just brand new, the chili and the Diva.
Yeah.
Those are brand new, but the Feisty and the Hot Flash, I've had those at Holly Fair every year. They are just, I actually run out.
Yeah, you told me you sold 1,900
That was
jars
the
of
jars
that.
the first year. And every year I go back to Holly Fair. It's my, I call it my big show. And then I do Tallahassee. Sometimes I go to Birmingham. I do all the little holiday shows. Dothan.
How long have you had this product line?
2009 is when I started it.
So it's relatively new, and it's just little by little gaining traction.
Little by little.
What do you think the next step's going to be for you with this?
Well, Shark Tank.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Last year I was a contestant. I made it through the first 2 rounds.
Oh, Shark, those guys are rough.
They are.
Yeah.
not as tough as
If
me.
you're not familiar with the show we're talking about, it's a Shark Tank where you try to get an angel, somebody to help finance and bring your business to the next level.
Yes.
And they just grill you on that thing.
And it's okay. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well, maybe we'll practice here.
Sure. Give me some questions.
Why should I eat that salsa?
It's healthy. It's guilt-free.
Sold. Here's $1 million. No, that's actually really good. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, I've been kind of munching on that in between breaks and stuff
Me
before
too,
we even
I'm
started.
sweaty.
I know it is getting a little warm in here from all this stuff. Now I noticed you got some. It looks like an experimental new product line.
Yes,
And
we're working on 2 new products. A strawberry margarita or daiquiri mix and a pina colada mix.
And a pina colada mix, very nice. Someone's watching. How can they get your salsa mix or any of these
Well, go
products?
to Cahill's Deli. They've got the entire selection now. Not everyone has the entire selection. Monica Market out in Seaside, but there's a lot of Lot Boutique. There's a Florida, the Florida House. There's a lot of little.
So you'll find it around, but you can also get it online at
girlsnightsalsa.com.
Don't forget where you heard it. You've been watching Waking Up with Don. Thanks a lot for watching, and try some of the salsa stuff. It's great. We'll see you next time.